I chose Behind Bars, the California Convict Cycle. Now, this site is broken down into 5 different categories. The first is Beyond the Bars. The second, Dying Behind Bars. The third, Desegregation. The fourth, Surviving Loss. And the fifth is the History. Now, each one of the categories has different options that when you click on it, it brings you into it. Like the first, Beyond the Bars, brings you into people after like prison life. So the first is Revolving Door, Tract, Island of Second Chances. Island of Second Chances, I believe, honestly, is the most emotional because that's people transitioning to a fresh start after they get out of prison. Now we're going to go back. The most emotional and saddest category is Dying Behind Bars. It takes you into the life of like sick inmates. So when you click this sick inmates category, it goes through every single inmate and like what they're dying from. The tragedy that people face in a jail, prison. This site really shows you that this isn't fun at all. This man right here is dying from AIDS. It's extremely sad. And all these people on this site right here, this link, are actually lifetimers. So they're going to spend their lives in prison. Now, another sad category that we have on here is the death sentence, which honestly is not that common here in New Jersey anymore. But in California still has the death sentence. Desegregation. Desegregation is an extremely important part to any type of prison because people segregate themselves based on different races, gangs, just any type of person they are, aggressive, non-aggressive. So this is a view of the entire yard that they have here at UC Berkeley's Behind Bars. Drag this through. The entire yard of the prison. Now, the victims tab is extremely interesting because it's talked about sons, mothers, husbands, daughters, anyone that's been a victim of someone that's passed, been murdered, been killed by these inmates. So this was extremely interesting to me because, like, as a parent myself, it is extremely emotional to read some of these stories, like these tragic losses of parents, like parents of murdered children, Citizens Against Homicide, the National Center for Victims of Crime. So it is extremely emotional and sad on both parts. Sad for the inmates, sad for the families. Oops. Now, surviving loss. This is like another page that basically helps people, like I was just saying. It helps people who have experienced loss and so forth. It gives, like, reach out, like there's numbers to reach out to different hotlines to be able to talk to people, counselors, therapists, and so forth to these families. The history. The history of the prison was extremely interesting to me because it kind of gave me an overview as to why News 21 reported on this particular prison. So it gave an overview. And it talked about like how that more than 50 years ago the criminal justice system was both the same and very different. And it just talked about everything that, almost how messed up the law system still is. Now we have about us. So these are the Berkeley News 21 reporters. These are the people that have reported on this prison, that have given us the feedback on the site that we really needed. So someone that's coming from viewing this site, obviously it's important to see who's credited, like what journalists, reporters, everyone that has looked into information on this site. I think the main reason that behind the bars was actually put out there, it was to show people that by no means should you be in prison. There's no reason to be in prison. It's extremely upsetting, it's extremely horrible, it's not fun. These people in there are dying in there, there's people in there that are sick, there's so much violence, it's just not good. And the segregation that people experience, how people are they have to desegregate people and group people around because people are just so violent. So this is also a link on the site. So this right here tells you about News 21. It tells you about what they do, and it's basically a new generation of journalists. And these journalists are actually trying to reshape news, trying to get the word out there, trying to speak about these issues that people are experiencing, because not everybody knows what it's like to be in prison. I mean, I personally don't. But everyone else, when you don't know what it's like, you can see from the outside, because these people actually have gone in depth to get these views from these prisoners. It's another News 21 site that's attached in the link. So basically, here's a little preview of behind bars. Alright guys, thank you for watching my video.